Greetings and welcome back to another video in which I coach another player's gameplay to hopefully help them understand any PvP aspects they might be missing, as well as take a look at their build and see if we can't optimize it further. And the gameplay we're about to take a look at comes from a commenter from the last coaching video, and they reached out to me saying that they've been struggling a little bit in the B rank, and they have a build that they've been quite fond of, and would like to see if I can make any adjustments for optimizing it for that PvP, preferably so that I can carry him through the higher ranks. So yeah, before we begin, if you have any gameplay you would like me to coach and see on this series, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And yeah, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, and here we are. They already have a video up on YouTube for us to take a look at. And so we'll be coaching this gameplay and this AC, which is a Zaku AC. That a cool cosplay indeed. So yeah, we're in the B rank. We're rocking a heavyweight biped with a Karasawa Moonlight, Laser Orbit, and Duo 03. And I think I spot a Coral or a Burzel booster there in the back. But yeah, we'll let the first fight play out, and then we will see about optimizing the build. It's very slow, but quite durable. Only 1800 stability for being that slow, though, is kind of rough. But nonetheless, we proceed. Alright. First opponent, indubitably a lightweight man. Alright, rocking one Viento, Laser Blade, 6Cell, and Huxley SPD. Super lightweight, super squishy. Probably only 1400 stability at the highest, with around 8k AP. Again, maybe lower. And maybe this is a cosplay or something, but I always find it interesting when people have a impact-based shoulder-mounted weapon, like the Huxley, for example, instead of putting the melee on the shoulder and having another Viento. As this build is going to be very hard to catch, but it's not going to be putting out a whole lot of impact nor damage. You will have to watch out for that Spinjitzu from the blade, but I think based off our weight, we have this win in the bag, more or less. Wouldn't really rely on the charge shots of the Karasawa, but the normal attacks, maybe some charge shots every now and again if you're really close range. We assault boosting with that. Yep, Burzel. So we got the weaponry. Not the best synergy, but I think there's a good chance here. Get that close. Get that power going. Battle attrition. In we go. Let's go. Oh, doing that hard lock. There we go. Hard locking. Okay, he's moving close. Obviously, it's Viento, so it makes sense. Getting a lot of the assault boost, although being that close, obviously, it's going to overshoot a lot. So, yeah. Best to just use your Burzel to either go for kicks a lot. Oh god, we unlock. It's kind of rough. The spin, but yeah, kind of weird to go for the full spin at that angle for the punish. I would have just gone for the normal attack. Go the stagger, PA. So far, we're kind of getting shredded. Very interesting. Alright, going for the double slash on the raw Moonlight, I wouldn't really recommend. I'd recommend just popping out the first attack, as if you're incredibly close, it's very likely to land, but the follow-up is not. I would reserve both attacks for the melee punish. One attack is fine, though. It's quick, you know, it stands for too long, and it's high likelihood to hit. Alright, sorry about a proc, I'd pop the 8 now, but yeah, now we're taking all the great hit. 500 health. Oh, the missiles finish us off. No! Alright. Yeah, big things to point out. Unlocking a couple times wasn't so great. Maybe we're fat fingering the stick and unlocking, or you're moving the right stick a little too much, and that's causing you to unlock. That assault boosting constantly when right next to him, and yeah, using the Moonlight outside of stagger with both attacks, it's kind of rough. And a little slow on the expansion, but I'm awfully slow on the expansion too, so it just happens. But it's better to pop it just before you stagger rather than after, because once you stagger, most likely you're going to get hit by at least something. You know, let's say far enough away, maybe they punish them, reach you knives like that. Probably before the expansion hit, which means you took no direct hit damage. They didn't, so they take a lot of damage, knives and stuff. Yeah, just assault boosting for the kick when you're next to it is probably not the play. Nice. Especially with the both attacks and hit, he's just right up against you. Assault boosting, ending with the kick was not the best. Never wise to just end your assault boost with the kick, because why not? Because you're just standing there. You're going to take any missiles flying around, you're going to take hits, it's rough. Definitely not worth going for a kick unless you know it's going to land. Or you can just afford it. This build is quite big. Ooh, the lag kick a little bit, but we got it. Orbit finished it off. Very nice comeback. Very epic indeed. Again, maybe a little too many kicks in the assault boost usage, but that's alright. As you don't really need to, you're already so much heavier than he is, so you don't really need to worry about your movement going crazy, constantly moving all around. You can honestly just sit there and take most of what he's throwing at you, and dish out a lot more. You have a lot more damage to give, and he has a lot more to take. The assault and the verticality, especially when assault percent like that is just no good. Pop expansion, a little slow on it, damage. Even not gonna pop it at all. Damn. Let him get his full punish. He has now turned the tide. I'm surprised he's not pulling off more raw charged laser blades, honestly. Yeah, he's getting away to try to let the impact go down, but it's probably not going to happen. He's super light, so it's likely, but not with a laser orbit at least. Very unlikely indeed. So we're self-boosting around. You would probably benefit a lot from a self-boosting like this. And instead of ending with a kick where you just whip and now you get punished, die, fortunate. If you assault boost and just jump, you exit the assault boost while keeping some nice momentum, and you can immediately quick boost any way you want immediately after. It's a tech I use constantly to chase down kites and lighter opponents, and I think it would have aided you pretty well. Because you would have been able to just assault boost with that super nice assault boost speed because of the Burzle, jump to exit and just light them up with your carousel immediately, and quick boost with them if they quick boost away. But yes, alright, I think we have a understanding for the build, and let's tweak it. Alrighty, and here we are, the full assembly. I had a hunch and skip to the end of the video, as it does indeed show the full build, inner parts and all. Although the end product does feature the 10 cell instead of the Duo 03, so I'll keep both in mind when making the upgraded variant. I won't really speak on this variant all too much, as we've already seen how it plays, as well as I've already kind of commented on it, and we're going to see much more gameplay of it. So let us dive into a more optimized variant of it.
A few inches later.
And here we are, upgraded man. I ended up switching out the Karasawa for the Harris, as the Harris is basically better than the Karasawa in every way. What I mean is, although the Karasawa is pretty cool, its base attack is neat, its charge attack is really where it shines, as you can just chain the charge attack over and over with another weapon or two Karasawas especially. However, you don't want to spam the normal charge attack on Bipedal because you'll just stance, so it's better on Tetra or Tank, and it will never overheat. Its supercharge is very cool for that one-shot stagger, however, it will not one-shot stagger every build, only light to medium weights. Heavyweights usually can sugar it off a little bit, but it takes so long to charge up, and the weapon itself is very heavy and costly. Compare that to the linear rifle Harris, which has super nice attacks that can be just spammed, as well as a very devastating charge attack that doesn't take a long time to charge up and deals similar impact and high damage, meaning you only need a couple extra normal shots and then the charge shot to actually get that stagger, which is a lot easier, more reliable, and overall more efficient than the Karasawa. And of course, it's a lot lighter, allowing us to pack on more muscle, indubitably. And with that, I decided to double up on the Harrises, and then just throw the Moonlight Redshift on the back. And then Moonlight makes for a nice melee punish if you're gonna rock rifles, as we can stagger them close range or long range, and then hit him with the punish of the blade. And the archetype of Heavy Kite itself is a pretty popular one in the current meta, still quite viable. And then for the last shoulder mount, you could still rock the Laser Orbit, it still does have a nice place. However, I think the Harrises will take care of that job to keep up the impact no matter where they are, pretty much as good as the Orbit would anyway, so having some missiles just to help with the impact / chase down pressure I think is very nice. For the frame parts, went with the 44D head for a nice splitting contribution of AP and stability. The Melander core for effectively the same reason. It's nice with the weight, and it gives us nice defenses, AP, and stability, however it does of course suffer energy defense. However, we do make up that with Iron Femora arms, which are again pretty light, can handle the recoil of both rifles being spammed, and offer us some nice defenses. And then lastly, the Desert legs, which are my go-to for heavyweight legs, as they give us a great amount of AP, stability, and overall defenses, while not breaking the bank on weight, making us not super slow. And of course, inner parts, pairing it all with the Burzle booster. You can either go Burzle booster or Gridwalker. Burzle, if you don't mind rush down, and this previous variant of the build does like to rush it down, so Burzle will definitely do it. However, you can of course run Gridwalk if you want to use that upwards thrust to go up and down at Mach 10, vert kiting as it is called indubitably. For FCS, keeping the Walt, as again we like to play in close and medium range. Generators, switching over to NGI, so we have a lot more Burzle assault boost pressure, and it's lighter than the 20D, and of course keeping the expansion pulse armor. And so yeah, with these new weapons, you of course have a lot of impact in your back pocket that you can then just keep her going, stagger, hit the blade, and yeah, just keep spraying them. The Harrises are great for impact, damage, and they even have some nice direct hit, so they make for a decent stagger punish to themselves. And of course, you always have these super charged attacks in the back pocket. If you chain them together, of course, that is an instant stagger. Not super likely to hit, but if it's against a heavyweight, it is much more likely, indubitably. And these weapons have a very nice punish synergy. If we proc stagger with just the rifles and the missiles, proc stagger, switch over melee, and charge up our other Harris, finish off the Harris, get a little bit of extra damage. Yes, that is indeed that damage. And we are reaching an assault boost speed of 457. And of course, shuffle upwards of 500. So yeah, pretty damn nice. And again, best to end the assault boost by just jumping. Saves you a bit of energy. Doesn't pause you for like a kick or the normal way of canceling it. Quick boosting or rather. So yeah, saves you energy, keeps your momentum. And yeah, you don't stand still. It's very, very good indeed. But yeah, I'd recommend giving this one a spin. It is quite the departure from the cosplay, so I understand if you want to keep the armored decor, but this is what I would recommend if you want to put it in more of a competitive setting, indubitably. But again, to each their own, enjoy what you enjoy, indeed. With all that out of the way, back to the gameplay. Alrighty, next match indeed. What are we to be up against? Ooh. LRB laser shotgun, single cell plasma missile, and duo O2 or duo O3. Can't quite tell, but on a medium weight, or really lightweight at this rate, especially with the Ephemer Core. Although with the Ephemer Core and those laser weapons, it's best to assume high energy damage, or with the VE-20C or the 20B itself. Again, we fat finger the lock on, or we just forgot to lock on. Yeah, we're in soft lock right now, which means, yeah, you're probably double clicking it on accident. You can always tell if you're in soft lock or hard lock, whether you're spectating or not, because you only see the extra rings around the cursor on the enemy. Extra white rings, anyway. Good, we got the option to use their expansion first, although we didn't pop ours early enough, so we took a little bit of damage, but honestly not a whole lot. So yeah, it's still winnable. But yeah, he's doing that damage. He's going for those charged laser shotgun shots on bipedal, which is very good for us to take advantage of that stance. However, it seems that he's a little mindful with it and only popping it when it might stagger us, so he's pretty smart. Really staggering. Ooh. That might cost him. Yeah, he went for the stance. I got him. Very cool, very cool. Back at it again. So good first round. You do be doing that damage, but again, he's just eating that damage. He's eating our damage. A little bit of lag, but that's alright, I'm sure. So good on us for not using the charge attack on the Kurosawa. It is tempting. But yeah, no. Although spamming the no shot does overheat very quickly, which is unfortunate. Ooh, go for the kick though. I probably would have, maybe would have connected honestly. But due to the verticality, there's a chance he missed. Alright, pop this expansion. We're at 4,000 AP. Yeah. Definitely should have popped our expansion and maybe a little earlier. That's the thing about laser damage. It often doesn't do a whole lot of impact. Damn, we actually landed the charge moonlight. Risky days, man. Photo finish. I'm actually not against that charge moonlight. Usually outside of stagger, in general, the moonlight charge attack I'm against. But when you're in a scenario like this where you're both 1-hit shot or you're just low AP in general, it is sometimes worth going for those ballsy plays, because as we've seen, it does work out sometimes. Alright, yes, what are we fighting next? Oh god. Heavyweight double LRB, 61 PS pulse shield and duo O3. The duo O3, or the duo missiles themselves, very popular indeed. We had double LRB with a shield. That is, on a heavyweight, is rough. You might have us beat in weaponry for sure. But we'll see what we can do. And we can't use our moonlight outside of stagger because he'll just parry it, such as then. Go for the kicks as well, it's just not worth it. You can parry that as well. Yeah, you can spam kicks to try to make him overuse the shield, but it is the 61, which means it cools down very quickly. Bam, we got the first stagger, got some good damage. Alright, probably best pop our expansion here in a second. Nice, good stuff. Health is looking pretty even, Steve, and we even have the health advantage. Charge moonlight. I wouldn't really recommend it. It seemed to work there, but again, you can just parry it, so that's just free parry value, honestly. Go for it again, but he is PA, so that's not really going to do a lot. Going for the supercharge, you parry it, but or at least blocked it a little bit. Going for it all, really. Seems that he's not, seems he's not managing his LRB cooldown cycle very well. He's kind of just firing it all out at random and then it's all gone. So he could definitely be playing better. Yeah, but yeah, it seems like we're locking in though. We're having less trouble with the lock on. That's good. We're spamming a lot of assault boost over and over, which isn't the best for kicks. Assault boost into melee, I respect it. But again, we're running both attacks. I really just recommend throwing out just the one. For a kick, again, in that super close range, it's less likely to hit. Hey, overwhelming that shield with our attack, so good. Although again, he's kind of misplaying holding out his shield for extra long time, or more time than he should really. He's running for the charge attacks, interesting. That's just not great. Now both are overheated and didn't even hit. Oh god. I would have said he won this in the garage, but he's misplaying his heart out. No offense, brother, no offense. Happens to the best of us. Going for the charge to finish it off. GG's. Oh my god. I mean, you're moving around like a madman, going for a lot of kicks. He himself should have just been backpedaling, parrying every kick, and just firing out the normal attacks. Never charged. Oh, we're in the garage. Switch it to the 10 cell like I seen in the end. I see. Might be worth it. I mean, 10 cell is pretty nice. Although, the thing about the 10 cell, it has quite the reload time. You'll get a lot of... Oh, same dude. You'll get a lot of value out of the 10 cell in that it's a lot of missiles. It means a lot of impact, a lot of damage. Thing is, because of that, it has a hefty reload. And if you don't have other weapons to kind of help you out and cover you, which I guess the Orbit can do, so Orbit and 10 cell isn't the worst combination. But yeah, so let's see how we do again. Running at it back. Will the enemy lock in a little more, maybe? Alright, he's charging up one of the attacks. We misplayed our lock on a little bit there. Fire misses at nothing. That happens. Dude, no, that's actually just a big brain play to confuse the enemy. We got a lock on, brother. We're still in soft lock. There we go. Good stuff. Back in it again. Going for both attacks, which for some reason is working because he's just not parrying it at all. And again, he's holding his shield out for way too long. You only get the instant guard for a little bit. It doesn't last that long. It's not worth holding out. The PSs and the shield you just block damage with. It's something you parry with for sure. You take advantage of its max cooling so you can continue it forever almost. Charged. He again just takes the hit. I guess he doesn't have that upwards thrust to really just go above it. As that's what most people do. They just drop right below it or they go straight up. Damn, he's just getting absolutely blasted. My god. Alright, we shall see. Will he pick up the parrying? If he stops using his charge attacks and again he's holding out the shield, he's wasting charge. Every single time he pulls it out and then dodges or fires his weapon that's on that side, he's just wasting parries. Now he's staggered. Got the first stagger, PA to PA. On the move for sure. Yeah, he seems to have that 20B, he's doing that damage. Stun. Kick again against the shield isn't too great, but then again he's just holding it out, so honestly, it's just kind of free impact. He's just making his hitbox kind of bigger for you, honestly. Despite already being humongous. Running in that. Oh my god. The rush down. Oh god, surprised that the second one actually hit through the wall, but GG's, man, GG's. My god, what a brawl fest. That is definitely the best showing of how not to use a shield, methinks. Alrighty, so those are all the fights. Alright, so what were the biggest things I think you should improve upon? I can't really dive into building too much as, again, this is a cosplay build, so I don't know how much of your process was going in thinking that this would be like a really good cosplay to adapt for competitive PvP, or you're just going for that good old armor decor, that faithful to the source material type look / functionality. So I can't really judge the building aspect too much there. Of course, I gave you my thoughts on what I think an optimized for PvP variant looks like. Feel free to definitely let me know what you think about that in the comments below if you end up seeing this video. But yeah, your resource management, meaning the attacks you chose to do at certain times, were pretty solid when it comes to your actual loadout. You fired out the missiles in opportune times. You weren't spamming the charge attack of the Karasawa against lighter opponents because obviously they wouldn't have landed, and you're on bipedal, so stancing over and over against them being so heavy is also just not it. However, you did throw out a lot of moonlights, charge attacks, and normal attacks that against more locked in opponents definitely wouldn't have landed and would have been much more punished. Kind of like what we were seeing in the first fight with the lightweight, and maybe a little too much on the assault boost usage. It is nice having the Burzo and having that super fast assault boost, which you can use for super oppressive kicks over and over, especially on heavier weights. The heavier you are, the stronger your kicks are. However, as we've seen in the earlier rounds, spamming kicks like that will burn your energy, make you very stationary in the end, meaning you'll just take any missiles that are coming at you or any hits regardless, especially if you miss. And yeah, depending on where you kick, if you're too close, you might just overshoot. If your verticality's off, you might just go right underneath them or over them. And yeah, probably best to drop the habit of unlocking on the enemy for sure. Which I imagine is happening because you're moving your right stick, and that will unlock the opponent. Happened to me a lot after I stopped playing PvE. I played my whole first playthroughs in soft lock, so I was always looking around. And then in PvP, when you use hard lock, if you look around, it unlocks you. So yeah, thank you for sharing your gameplay. I hope my commentary / tips help you in the future. Please let us know in the comments. And to anyone watching, if you want to see me take a look at your gameplay, feel free to let me know. You can post the gameplay on YouTube, Twitch, or anything like that. And yeah, just let me know and I'll totally down to take a look. Any ranks are welcome, of course. Alright, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, a huge thank you to my Egg Crusaders, my channel members, Arch, Shadow, Metal, and Magpie. Y'all are absolutely insane, and I appreciate you immensely. All this said, y'all have yourselves a very good one, and peace.